Welcome back everyone. Great to see you again. In the previous video, we've dealt with the here and now. Now we can look towards the future. What long-term coaching strategies exist to enhance learning? Unfortunately, I must start with a bit of a cliche. Long-term enhancement of learning directly rests on the effectiveness of a coach's planning. Without a nested plan, a coach is left without clear expectations of where they want their players to get to and what they want them to achieve. Consequently, this coach would go from session to session with limited direction. And while short-term learning may occur, long-term learning certainly will not. So, what can coaches do in the long term to enhance learning? First, should genuinely care for their participants. But this care must be accepted by the participant themselves. Care can look different, from listening and being concerned about things outside of the sport, to making a participant work harder in training, but both may still promote learning because a person that feels cared for is more likely to be open and motivated to learning new things. Second, coaches are encouraged to provide honest feedback and manage expectations appropriately. Coaches should not always aim to please, yet the timing and manner in which honest feedback is provided matter. Third, coaches should check for understanding and check for enjoyment. Remember, emotion drives learning. If a child becomes bored, the learning may stop. And fourth, getting the balance right between training and competition is paramount. This is not only about the amount of competition, but also the level and format, so it serves a developmental purpose and it doesn't become an end in itself. Chapter 3 in MOOC 3 will cover this topic in detail. In addition to this set of behaviours, there are two perspectives derived from coaching literature on long-term learning that is important to highlight here. Swedish researcher Anders Ericsson, in his original research in musicians, identified that in order to develop expertise, the best violin players had accumulated substantially more hours of what he called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice involves the sustained and purposeful targeting of specific areas of improvement. According to the violinist, it was not much fun, but they acknowledged that they had to do it if they wanted to reach higher levels of expertise. By contrast, Canadian researcher Jean Cote provided a counter to this idea and suggested that deliberate play environments are better suited to developing individuals who can find multiple solutions in difficult tactical environments. Deliberate play is intrinsically motivating, provides immediate gratification, and is specifically designed to maximize enjoyment. Examples of this include street football, playing ultimate frisbee in the park, or playground basketball. Now, both positions have provided evidence to support their claims, and both claims have been openly criticised. So, what's the right answer? Should we encourage kids to engage in deliberate practice or deliberate play? Similarly to the debate of games versus drills, deliberate play and deliberate practice indicate two significantly different strategies to long-term learning. The evidence collated for both perspectives would suggest that both are necessary in enhancing learning. I would, however, strongly discourage being guided by a numerical value like the constantly alluded to 10,000 hours rule. The truth is that research shows that the number of hours required to develop expertise varies greatly across individuals and contexts. Similar to blocked, variable, and random practice, deliberate play and practice environments tend to be strategies that appear to align well to specific demands of sport and learning objectives. That is, deliberate play seems to benefit players finding and developing multiple solutions in situations of high complexity, whereas deliberate practice seems to suggest the development of specific skill-based expertise, largely devoid of context. So, once again, we advocate for a common ground between deliberate practice, deliberate play, games-based methodologies, and skill-based approaches. In the end, it all comes back to the plan. What will the child develop? Where will they get to? And what's the best pedagogical strategy at that point? Okay, that was a lot to take in. Let's summarize both part 1 and part 2 and the multiple strategies to enhancing learning we have explored. On a short-term basis, coaches' behaviours should promote enjoyment, specific feedback and praise. They should steer clear of scolds and punishments for skill failure and observe more and talk less. Their practice structure, to put simply, should be directly aligned to what the child is required to achieve, whether drill or game-based. Long-term development centres more on planning, developing a relationship and care for the athlete, and creating a developmental climate within training, and very importantly, during competition. Furthermore, we propose that coaches strike a balance between deliberate play and practice, and do not hold themselves hostage to either approach. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please, please, please remember the 2 rules to live by when enhancing learning. 1, maximise the doing, and 2, emotion drives learning. Thanks for watching and see you soon.